Hi guys, welcome to week 4 and the end of the documents week. You will have another quiz / test at the end of this week, but I'm here to talk to you about the Bill of Rights, which is specifically what your quiz will mostly be about. The Bill of Rights is actually technically the end of the Constitution. You see, the Bill of Rights are 10 amendments to the Constitution, and an amendment is literally a change to the Constitution or an addition. All right, so we've amended our Constitution 27 times, but right after we passed the Constitution, in order to protect people's basic rights and also convince states to ratify the Constitution, we passed 10 changes to the Constitution that have become known as the Bill of Rights. 10 amendments which protect some of our basic freedoms and liberties. So I'm here to go over them with you now. You have a piece of paper out to take notes, so that way you can keep track. There we go. So, the Bill of Rights protects individual rights by limiting government powers. When the Constitution was adopted, some state constitutions already had a Bill of Rights. Thus, many thought the national government should be limited in a similar way. Originally, the Bill of Rights applied only to the national government, but almost all of its provisions have been incorporated into the states through court decisions. Scholars call this incorporated doctrine. So, the First Amendment of the Constitution actually protects 5 freedoms. Sometimes you can remember them through RAPS, an acronym. But the First Amendment protects the right of the Americans to worship as they please, protects freedom of the press and freedom of speech. Freedom of speech is not unlimited. For example, there are laws that prevent slander and libel. The First Amendment also protects the right to assemble in groups and hold demonstrations and protest, we call this. The Second Amendment, originally intended to prevent the national government from repeating the actions of the British. The British had tried to take arms away from colonial militia during this time. The amendment supports the right to own firearms, but it doesn't prevent Congress from regulating interstate sale of weapons. The Second Amendment is one amendment that the courts have not yet incorporated into state law. Many states do guarantee the right to keep and bear arms, though. Third Amendment, fun one. Forbid the government from forcing people to provide shelter for British troops. You know from reading the Declaration that this is one of the complaints the colonists had against the British during the Revolution. So it's no surprise that when we made the Constitution, we wanted to guarantee that no quartering of soldiers would occur, and forbid the government from forcing people to provide shelter to troops. The Fourth Amendment limits the government's power to conduct searches and seizures by protecting the rights to privacy. To be lawful, a search or an arrest must be based on probable cause. Probable cause is a reasonable basis to believe a person or place is linked to a crime. A search or arrest usually also requires a warrant, if no probable cause, but you normally need some cause to get a warrant anyways. But so you need a warrant in order to search or seize somebody's possessions, or you need probable cause. So for example, let's say I'm a police officer. I'm searching for murderers in your neighborhood, and I knock on the door, and I say, "Ma'am, I think there's a murderer here." And then I say, "Oh my goodness, is that 10 pounds of crack cocaine on your kitchen table?" I now have probable cause to arrest that woman, because I know that a crime is taking place. I don't need to wait for a warrant. So the Fifth Amendment is also kind of like the First Amendment. It protects multiple different things. This amendment contains 4 important protections. First, no one can be tried for a serious crime unless a grand jury decided there is enough evidence to justify a trial. Second, a person found innocent may not be tried again for the same offense. That's what we call double jeopardy. Third, no one may be forced to testify against himself or herself in a court of law. This is called pleading the fifth sometimes. Fourth, no one can be deprived of life, liberty, or the pursuit of happiness. Think back to some of the things we've talked about in our discussion over life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness after reading the Declaration. So, the Sixth Amendment gives Americans the right to a fair and speedy trial by an impartial jury. So, first of all, when they arrest you, they have to have a trial in a reasonable amount of time. So they can't say, we're arresting you and you'll have a trial in 10 years. That's illegal. Also, you have to have an impartial jury. So, for example, if I'm a chicken thief and I steal chickens and my jury is made up of chicken farmers, that is an unfair jury and not impartial. It has to be 12 strangers with no ties to the cause. And also gives an accused person the right to know the charges against him. So if I'm arrested and put in jail, I get to know why. Seventh Amendment simply protects Americans' right to sue you for $20 worth of property or more. Oh, America, suing. The Eighth Amendment. The amendment prohibits excessive bail. The judge should set bail at an amount to ensure the accused will appear for trial. Also, and this should be included in your notes, because I forgot on the slide, prevents cruel and unusual punishment. So, excessive bail and cruel and unusual punishment, basically no torturings. The Ninth Amendment states that any rights not spelled out in the Constitution are to be retained by the people. So, anything that is not taken away from the people in the Constitution or given to the people in the Constitution does not necessarily define what they can and cannot do. So, if the Constitution does not say specifically that, say, you cannot celebrate Christmas Eve, this is all hypothetical. They can't do that. So I mean, it prevents the government from claiming that the only rights that the people have are the ones spelled out in the Constitution. Unlike the 10th Amendment, unlike the other amendments in the Bill of Rights, the 10th Amendment did not add any rights, but clarified that if some power was not specifically delegated, or if it was not forbidden to be held by the states, then it belonged to the states. And I think that got cut off. Then it belongs to the states, respectively. So basically, any power is not given to the federal government, state government has the power to deal with. And that are the first 10 amendments to the Bill of Rights. You will need to know all 10. You will have a fun little activity you'll have to do tomorrow related to the first 10 amendments we talked about. Have a great rest of the day. Almost forgot. Also complete the quick discussion board that goes with this slideshow. Have a great day again.